Hello and welcome back to another video here on the channel. My name is Riley, and in today's video we are back in FM23 and I have done another experiment. This time around though, I have gone back to Ireland. Not obviously, but if you're curious, last season or in FM22 I played as Galway United in the Irish Premier Division, the Premier League, all that jazz, and I took them from the bottom and I brought them to the Champions League. It was a great time. I loved it. I loved playing in the Irish leagues and interacting with Irish fans. So it was a great time. So I dipped back into Irish football again, and this time I did something a little bit different. I went to the Irish Premier Division, and I upgraded all the clubs in that division. And by upgraded, I mean I injected a ton of money into each of these clubs. I injected £1 billion into each of these clubs. And I also updated their facilities to everything being spectacular. I upgraded their reputation so then they could attract good players. I upgraded their corporate facilities, training facilities, youth facilities, junior coaching, youth recruitment, all that jazz. And I did that for all of the teams in the Irish Premier Division currently. So I don't know how this went, but I am curious. So I did that, and then I simulated 5 years. I went 5 years into the future. So as you can tell, we are in 2028. So I am curious to see what transpired. What would happen if I made all of the Irish Premier Division clubs spectacular when it comes to facilities? Facilities that not even Ronaldo. And I also gave them high reputations and a lot of money. Would they be able to sign high-level players? The one thing I did not do was increase the reputation of the Irish Premier Division. That's probably the one mistake I did or didn't do, and something that I probably should have done. So there is that. But just looking at this, just currently, looks like improvements have occurred because in 2023, so how the Irish Premier Division works, it actually starts in February and then runs to the fall. So it does not follow the typical timeline of European football clubs or seasons. So in 2023, the Irish Premier Division was ranked 85th when it came to overall competition reputation. And then it boosted up to 44th. So that clearly shows that there has been significant growth, especially when you go from 51st to 44th. So yeah, we're gonna just pop in and just see what kind of transfers transpired and see what kind of money was spent, what kind of players went places, and honestly, what kind of success they might have seen in Europe. That's the one that I'm really curious about, is what kind of success was seen in Europe. So first things first, let's look at in the 2023 season, what were some really expensive transfers? So just clicking on this, Finn Harps, looks like they brought in João Pedro. I've seen João Pedro before. I brought him to Japan back when I had that save going a couple of years ago in FM21, I believe it was. Yeah, it was 21. So I am aware of João Pedro, but they spent £28 million on him. Looks like Dundalk brought in Amad Diallo from Man United and stayed there for a few seasons, but then went on to Crystal Palace. Big money, though, going to Man United's way. Fred also into Sligo Rovers for 15.25, and he's currently unemployed. Looks like he just left on a free, which makes sense. He's like 35, 34 at that point. Origi went to Shamrock Rovers. Okay. Konate came from Salzburg, 23 years old. He's still at Bohemians. That's very, very interesting. And of course, these are just the ones that went on fees, and a lot of money was spent in comparison to real life, I guess. I'm sure real life would not have been as spectacular. But yeah, it's very clear that money was spent, and some success was probably seen there. But let's jump forward to season 2024 and see what kind of money was spent. This right off the bat, Onana, Belgian, Onana. I actually just watched Belgium today play, and Onana was there. Belgium beat Canada 1-0 in the World Cup. And he went to St. Pat's Athletic for £51 million. Then he went on to loan. Again, it didn't look like he had a lot of success there, though. It's funny, Everton actually got relegated there. Interesting. But not a lot of success in Ireland, it looked like. He went on to France and then ended up staying there. Joe Gomez left Liverpool to go to Derry City for a big deal, £39 million. That's something. Awoni left. What's their face? Nottingham Forest. Ait Nouri, he left Wolves. Ruben Loftus-Cheek left Chelsea for $22 million. Willock. Oh, look at that. Rasmus Højlund, I have him in another save, actually. But it looks like he actually went on for 14.25 to Sligo Rovers. Lottie, that's interesting. He went to Bohemians, then went to Atalanta. So we went back to Italy afterwards. But again, money was spent. Look, Eden Hazard actually left Real Madrid to go play in Ireland. Who would have thought that? And he actually stayed there he actually signed on a free to Finn Harps to play in the first division. Eden Hazard did. That is wild. Connor Cody left. Nathaniel Chaloba went to Drogheda United. Yeah, a lot of players that normally would never go to Ireland obviously went. So that's very interesting nonetheless. But when you have a lot of money to spend, it's not a surprise. Just seeing if there was any other interesting ones. Ryan Christie left Celtic, Bournemouth, St. Pat's Athletic, Wolves. Interesting. Any other names stick out? I'm just trying to see if there is any. Victor Lindelof went on a free from Man United. Lots of names. But let's go forward another year to season 2025. Ismaili Sarr lent £57 million to St. Pat's Athletic. Fabio Vieira, Shamrock Rovers for 53. Yeah, look at all this money that's being sent. It's actually spent. It's wild. I'm actually like, can't even speak. Oxlade-Chamberlain. Saul went from Man United. Interesting. Clement Langlais. Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And these are players that are sometimes leaving. Like, for example, Rasmus Højlund left Sligo Rovers for £20 million. So, like, there's still Luis Suarez. Luis Suarez? This is a different Luis Suarez. Not the one I was thinking of. The one that plays in France. But still entertaining nonetheless that he went there. Univar, he went there too. Again, lots of players that I know you and I look at when we're doing transfers, going to different places. So again, very entertaining nonetheless. And let's go to 2026 and see what was going on here. Eddie Nketiah, Alessia went, Keita, Davison Sanchez, Roger Ibane, Sergino Dest, Dyson Maida, Dean Henderson went there. Scott McTominay went from Bohemians to Leeds. Interesting. Again, lots of money was spent, and we're in the second last year here. So it looks like the most money being spent here has not exceeded £60 million yet. So that is interesting. And the thing is, like, these clubs, I gave them a lot of money, and their fees will be low, but, like, they're also not bringing in a lot unless they're finding success in Europe, which we have yet to actually look and see. We'll do that here shortly. But yeah, lots of money. Luke Shaw went to Shamrock Rovers. Aaron Wan-Bissaka moving around there. It's very, very entertaining that so many players. Max Aarons was there. And the most recent season 2028. It's still ongoing technically. And honestly, they're probably running out of money at this point. I would think. There's no way they can maintain this level of spending. So anyways, that's entertaining. So now I'm going to winners here. Shamrock Rovers have not won it since the start of this. Dundalk, Sligo Rovers, Sligo Rovers, Sligo Rovers. Obviously, Sligo Rovers are doing themselves quite good. Transfer history-wise, though, let's see. Transfers out, 29 in, 31. Transfers in, £237 million. They spent big here, and it shows when they're winning 97 million. Again, not a lot of money leaving. That's probably an issue for them. 61. So I'm curious how they did in Champions League phase. What the flip is league phase? What is this? I don't know what. No. League phase, knockout, playoff round of 16. Okay. Oh, I see. I don't want to go current season. I want to look backwards. Do they not call it? What the flip? Do they not playoff round? Like, what is this? What am I looking at? Okay, so St. Pat's Athletic, interesting enough, they made it to the Champions League knockout stage, where they then went on to lose to Benfica. So that's interesting. Sligo Rovers looks like they had some success in the knockout playoff round. So the round of 16, they went on and then lost to Man City. I don't think any other round of 16. Is there any Irish clubs in the round of 16? Sligo Rovers will be in the knockout playoff round. Who else? Playoff round. I don't see there. Okay, so round of 16. Okay, so it looks like the success really hasn't translated too well into the Champions League. It looks like Ireland is becoming a regular, though, in the group stage and the knockout. So that's good. That's better than the alternative, which we obviously are aware of. So honestly, that's not a bad thing. It's a lot better than. So they are in the Conference League. I guess the Conference League is probably a good thing to check as well, just because of I don't really understand what this league phase stuff is. I don't really understand it. Past positions. Let's just go to the knockout playoff rounds and see if there's any Irish clubs there. None from that season or that season. Well, I should probably honestly look at round of 16. That's probably more important. Because if there is no round of 16, so Shamrock Rovers, they proceeded in the round of 16, and Sligo Rovers did as well. So the quarterfinal, how did they do? They proceeded. Shamrock Rovers did in the quarterfinal. So semifinal, they lost. Okay, so that's something at least. That's progress, and that's the Conference League. So it's not that glamorous, but it could be worse. Round of 16 looks like St. Pat's Athletic, and they destroyed Sarajevo, and then the semifinal then they lost the Leeds in the final. Okay, so that's good to know. And then anything else from the previous? Shamrock Rovers lost. There's no one else there in that season. Yeah, no one was there. And no one was there. Cool. Okay, that's interesting. That is interesting then. So lastly, I just want to check Europa League. I don't know if there will be anyone that was in the Europa League, but I will check nonetheless. Okay, it looks like there we go. Shalban made it to the round of 16 with a win over Antwerp. Let's go quarterfinal. They lost to barely though Borussia Dortmund. So that's not bad. Let's go next year. Ireland, no. And then nothing. Okay. So Champions League looks like they made it to the outside of the group stage at least. I think it's because they lost in the Europa. What? No, the group stage. They made it to the group stage. But then they lost in the they haven't made it past them at that point. But it looks like the Conference League, they've seen some success and they've jumped up the rankings and they're attracting real talent as well. So the last thing I'm going to look at is actually club reputations. I think that would be interesting to see. So club reputations, Look at this. Legal Rovers. What the heck? How did they jump up so high? Legal Rovers has jumped up the rankings. They are, I don't want to count, but that looks like top 20. They're a top 20 club. That's insane. Okay, so we got an Irish one there. Derry City, Shamrock Rovers are here. And like you gotta like who they compared against, like RB Leipzig they're ahead of, Wolfsburg they're ahead of, Eintracht Frankfurt they're ahead of, Atalanta. So yeah, Ireland is a competitor. Just think, it only took each club upgrading their facilities and £1 billion in each of their bank accounts to make them relevant. Obviously, this is probably not going to happen in real life. I don't think there is that much interest in investing in Irish football. I wish they would. It is very entertaining. I enjoy it. I still follow Galway United when they are in season. Obviously, they're not right now, but I do still follow them. And they were so close to getting promoted too, which is unfortunate. But I hope you found this interesting. I sure did. Just reviewing the success of a league that is considered a lower league. Like again, they were ranked 83rd, I think, in Europe, which is not very high to say the least. And they made it up to 44 in 5 years, so that's pretty good. And they have clubs that are multiple clubs in the top 50 clubs in Europe. So very interesting. And I hope you found it interesting. If you did, let me know. Let me know what you want to see next, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.